My wife was born 49 years ago today in San Francisco, the youngest of 7 children. She grew up in Daly City and on the peninsula. By the time you have your 7th kid, getting out the camera for childhood pictures loses its luster. But a few key images survive. After a series of disastrous high school relationships, she graduated from UC Berkeley's business school. After a year of working in investment banking, she made the ill-advised career choice of switching to TV news.
Hello, I'm Diane Dwyer.
Actually, loving what you do for a living is the best choice any of us can make, and she never looked back. Her first stop was an internship at KESQ in Palm Springs in 1988.
And that's the race.
Her first package was with a local unknown politician. There is no truth to the rumor that Palm Springs hairstyles were an impetus for the development of the wide-angle lens.
The 10 o'clock news with Diane Dwyer.
After Palm Springs, Diane headed north for her first paid job, KXLF in Butte, Montana. That winter is still the second coldest on record. The cold weather was kept at bay by both bigger shoulder pads and, while seemingly impossible, bigger hair. Her hard-hitting reports ranged from the hard court with the Globetrotters, and that's a miss, to pig farmers and copper mining. August came, and so did the snow, and Diane headed back to California.
The Senate approved a 52.5
KHSL in Chico, California. A bigger market, and yes, bigger hair, bigger shoulder pads, and bigger stories.
She also wants the microphone.
In the fall of 1990, she made the move that changed her career, taking a freelance writer and reporter role at the station she grew up admiring.
Demonstrators who continued to block the intersection were arrested.
She eventually worked her way up to her dream job on the 10 o'clock news, learning from some of the most talented people in the business. Lucky enough to be working in the market where she grew up, her hair got smaller and so did the shoulder pads, and her stories took on a more serious tone. While she learned to be a reporter at KTVU, she also married, and while working the morning show, she figured out a way to get more sleep by having 2 children, both of whom were introduced to the Bay Area on Mornings on 2.
Lake Cynthia says hi to everybody at Channel 2.
She won her first Emmy, AP Award, and a New York Film Festival Award, and developed a special lifelong bond with the man behind nearly all of her awards. Not me, but rather photographer Tony Hodrick. Tony was always by her side.
No? Oh! Thank you. Hi!
She left KTVU for an opportunity at the new NBC station in San Jose, a schedule that gave her more time with her family, us. Part of her success was tied to the fact that her stories were on her community, 7 brothers and sisters living locally, and nearly an entire life spent in the Bay Area means a depth and breadth of sources, and nearly always a personal connection to the story. She even put her dad on TV, talking about walking across the Golden Gate Bridge when it opened 75 years earlier. One of her favorite interviews, though, Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger, an interview that got her banned from the governor's office.
Are you for or against gay marriage?
I have no problem with it.
You won't answer the question.
I have no problem with it.
And then the comment that ended up with double meaning a year later, given the governor's extracurricular activities.
You do this to your wife at home?
What?
Not answer the questions?
Sometimes.
Her favorite perk? Reporting from Italy on the Winter Olympics, and in Beijing for the Summer Olympics. And my favorite statistic, Diane's tenure at KNTV is the longest-running solo anchor in Bay Area TV news.
And finally, I want to express my appreciation to those of you who have tuned in all these years.